कहते थे लोग जो काबिल नहीं है तू, देंगे वही सलामियाँ। दिल थाम के जहाँ देखेगा एक दिन तेरी भी कामयाबियाँ। कमाल हो आगे जाएगा शाबाशियाँ, 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 शाबाशियाँ।
Very good morning to all of you. Good morning, right. So here we begin with day 2 of business head. Is there any doubt in how to do add, less by those 4 steps which I gave you? Huh? Right? Okay. And those who have written the exam, please, for the residential status and basics, you can mail us the paper on conceptclassesexams@gmail.com so that we can discuss the paper and we will give you the suggested answer also. Right? Just giving the question papers and just giving the suggested answer as and how will not have. You will just see it orally and keep it aside, right? And all those you all are attending live, are you having the printout of this DT compiler? Then it's going to be helpful. DT compiler is definitely having all the amendments covered. So don't worry, and in these lectures also I will take care that I am doing all the amendments. Today is the second lecture for the DT Sarathi live practice batch for business head. Otherwise it is day 6. Yes, right. So let us begin now with business head. Business head, the chargeability section says section 28. Okay. Section 28 says that if you have business or profession, you enter in this and you continue, right? Okay. Now next is in the business head, how do you compute the income? Like if I say compute house property, you will write GAV, NAV, right? In business head, when you compute the income, you have to start with net profit as per books of accounts. Now there are some expenses which are debited, might be depreciation as per books, personal or capital expense, which are not allowed. If you scratch, the profit will reduce, expense will reduce, and the profit will increase. So add. If there is income related to business, you have not taken, add. If there is any other income credited in the P&L account and that impact is there in the net profit, less. There are some expenses which are allowed, like depreciation as per income tax act, scientific research, and you have not claimed that, then take it. So this is how when you do add and less correctly, you get the net profit as per Income Tax Act. Is this clear to all of you? Then we saw depreciation. It is mandatory to charge depreciation under Income Tax Act as per section 32. That too by WDV method by owner of the asset which is used for business. Now, what's going to be the cost of the asset? So if there are any grants, deduct it. If there is any interest incurred till the asset is getting ready, add it. Other all the expenses, add it. GST, add GST if you are not taking the input tax credit. Okay, right. So then you get the cost of the asset. Once you get the cost of the asset, add the purchases along with date. Why date is important? If you purchase the asset and use it for less than 180 days, then you have to charge the depreciation 50% of the rate. Balance you get less the sales value. And on balance, after the sales value, you charge depreciation. So in Income Tax Act, in the year of sale, there is no depreciation. Opening, purchase, balance, sale, again balance, charge the depreciation will give you closing WD. Coming to depreciation, 5 to 6 rates are very, very important. So you should know it on your tips. And I think we have written those important rates. Like plant and machinery, it's 15%. But if it is books and computers, 40%. Energy saving devices, 40%. Building, commercial and furniture, 10%. And all the intangible assets, 25%, except goodwill. Goodwill is not depreciated. So this is the concept we have done. Yesterday, we closed our class at additional depreciation. Are you getting why I'm doing this revision now? Yesterday, we have spent 2.5 hours doing this again. Why I'm revising? So that you come back in the flow. Something is not clear, please ask now. Don't wait for the end of the class. Comment in the live chat, comment in the Zoom chat. Isko clear karke khatam kar do. Because sometimes if that doubt is there in the mind, next what I'm saying, you're not listening. Okay. Now, additional depreciation has 4 to 5 very beautiful points. It says that additional depreciation is allowed to manufacturers for plant and machinery which is used in factory at the rate of 20% in the year when you purchase. If you are using it for less than 180 days, 10% now, 10% next year, right? Additional depreciation is not allowed on second-hand machine, on imported machine, ships and aircrafts, or any asset which is used other than factory. Maybe admin office or guest house or kahin bahar, depot. No. Only in the manufacturing unit, the core plant and machinery which is used, on that above the normal, matlab normal depreciation will be allowed and additional depreciation is allowed. Now, as we start the class for today, what we are doing is section 28 is the chargeability section. Section 30 to section 37 says, okay, this is allowed. This is allowed. So what is allowed, you can debit in the P&L account. What is not allowed and debited, you have to add back. So today's class is shaking that juggling, what is allowed, what is disallowed. Okay. Anywhere, if you feel the speed is not fine, you're not able to get, comment below, right? Let us start and continue now with the next one. This I am excluding now, this part, that is the tea, coffee, rubber development and the site restoration fund. For CMA students, I will teach it separately. Right now, scientific research I want to do. We all know that research and expense is an ongoing activity. And so they say scientific research expense is allowed in section 35. So related to this, open your notebook and we will write some notes here. Section 35. Scientific research is allowed. Scientific research and development related expense are there, then they are allowed. How they are allowed? In-house, matlab for your business, if you have incurred revenue expense or capital expense. Ma'am, generally capital expense are not allowed in P&L. But if that capital expense is related to scientific research, is it completely allowed? Answer is yes. So revenue expense and capital expense in-house are 100% allowed. Anyone studying from old books or scanners, their weighted deduction was there for scientific research, which is not there now. Second thing is, this is in-house, okay? Prior 3 years. So many times we do research, then fail, then research, then fail. Third time we are successful, and then we launch our product or service in market. So whenever we have launched, before that 3 years also we have incurred the scientific research expense, no? So will that be allowed now when you started the business? Answer is yes. So prior 3 years also, revenue and capital expense. I hope you are getting. Say our financial year is 23-24 agar. So before that 3 years, whatever expense are incurred, and you could not claim it anywhere because that time the business didn't start. You were just doing research. You purchased laptop, you purchased some asset, something for doing the research. So all that revenue and capital expenditure is 100% allowed. Third point, very important, is capital expenditure does not include capital expenditure does not include land. Suppose you've purchased land and you are using land also for scientific research, it's not going to be allowed. Yeah, so it does not include land. Next is your investment, goodwill, share scripts, and all that. If you're buying for the research purpose or anything, then also no cost is allowed. Other than that, capital expenditure are allowed. See, today's classes we'll do scientific research, one problem. Preliminary expense, one problem. Then tax audit, one problem. Like this we will do, so that when we go to the combined problem, it should be clear to all of you. Okay? Chalo. So in-house is clear, prior 3 years is clear, capital expenditure is clear. It does not include land. Please underline land. In exam, they will give you capital expenditure is 7,50,000 and 5 lakh is the cost of land. So cost of land 5 lakh will not be allowed. 2,50,000 जो बाकी है वो allowed है. Now, if you have not doing research in-house, but donation to company who is 100% doing the research and development, allowed. You are not doing in-house research and development, but you are giving donation to a company who is 100% involved in doing research, then that is allowed, right? Okay. Now, donation to IITs, Indian Institute of Technologies, then National Laboratory, then universities which are which are registered, affiliated. So universities and all this will also be allowed. Yes, donations to IIT, National Laboratory, universities, not only for scientific research, also so many times. Say I'm in Hyderabad, so we have here Osmania University. It's registered university. So there I donate for statistical research. You know what is statistical research? How many are the literate women and men, and like that, some database related research. So if it is approved IIT, National Laboratory, universities and all, it's allowed. Other than this, some companies who are involved in the biotechnology, they produce gas or medicines or some chemicals, or telecommunication companies, if you pay them for research, it's allowed. Okay, so this is all allowed. In exam, finish writing with me. Is there a network issue? Some of you are joining, leaving. What happened? Yeah. Any doubt is there? Ask. I am sitting right in front of the Wi-Fi, dear students. Done? Yes. Now let us read it. See, by writing like this, the gist you know, you have a grip on the concept, and then when you do, it will be very clear. Okay? Chalo, let us start with scientific research. In-house revenue and capital is 100% allowed. In-house revenue and capital is 100% allowed. For the past 3 years also it is allowed, other than cost of land. Suppose you have donated for companies who are 100% into research or biotechnology, pharmaceutical companies, telecommunication is all allowed. Yes, donations contributed to laboratory owned or financed by government, universities, college, all is allowed. Contribution to scientific research association, university, college, other institute, 100% allowed. No depreciation is allowed on above assets. Very, very important point. Say you have purchased a building of 50 lakhs for scientific research, and whole cost of building is allowed as scientific research. Yes, in the P&L account you have debited whole 50 lakhs building cost as scientific research, revenue and capital expense allowed. Then on the same 50 lakhs you can't claim depreciation. So I want to repeat, if revenue and capital expenses are allowed, you cannot claim depreciation. Yeah. Land cost is in crores of rupees. Then for years that company will debit the land cost and show loss and will not pay any tax. So land cost is not allowed. Okay? Right. Now, when you have to submit the report to chief commissioner about what scientific research you have done and take a report of the CA and all. When this asset is sold, amount received is recorded as business income till scientific research expense allowed, and beyond that capital gain. Now what does this point mean? Immediately in the Sarathi compiler I have given this example. Say laptop is purchased for 60,000. Now laptop is a capital expenditure, but you have using it for research, so 100% allowed. After use it is discarded for 65,000. So 60,000 you have debited in the P&L account. That same 60,000 will be treated as business income, and 5,000 will be treated as short-term capital gain. I want to repeat, revenue and capital expenses are allowed in P&L. So the cost of that asset will become nil. Building is purchased for 60,000, building account debit to bank, and whole building is transferred to P&L. Capital expenditure are also allowed. So now there is no depreciation, nothing. Now if this building is sold for 65,000, can you take 60,000 as income, business income? Because till that you have allowed business expenditure. Okay, right. Same thing, gist I have given second time. This was the explanation. Now the gist, and then we will work out the question answer. Revenue expense allowed, capital expenditure allowed, prior 3 years except cost of land. Research association, university should be undertaken, all allowed. Company which is doing 100% research, it should be formed for the object of research. Any research universities and all for statistical research also allowed. National laboratory, IIT allowed. Company engaged in specified business. So there are companies who are engaged in biotechnology, pharmaceutical, drugs, or production of some articles. They are allowed scientific research expense. Done? So now let us do the question. If they ask you such kind of question for 3 marks, 2 marks, bit question, then you have to just take it down and answer what is allowed. From the particulars, compute the deduction allowed. So answer, deduction is allowed. Amount paid to Indian Institute of Science, allowed. Amount paid to IIT Delhi, allowed. Amount paid to AB Limited, but it is a registered company formed for research and development, allowed. Amount paid for in-house revenue research, allowed. Capital expenditure including cost of land. Now, cost of land is not allowed, but capital expenditure incurred is 750. So, remove the cost of land is not allowed as scientific research. Can we claim remaining 2,50,000? Yes. So, what's the total expenditure allowed? 30. Now, after 2-3 years used for scientific research, say this 2 lakh building is sold for 1 lakh. 1 lakh क्या हो जाएगा? Business income. Say this building is sold for 4 lakhs. So till 2.5 lakh, it's business income. 1.5 lakh, it is capital gain. Easy, super easy. The concept of scientific research. You don't know if someone is interested in cooking can understand. We are making different ingredients, gravies today. When we mix it, it will become a 14 marks problem where one bit will be donation, one will be scientific research, one will be depreciation, and so on. Right? Okay. Right. Yesterday, immediately after uploading, more than 50 students have watched it and messaged me. I don't know, like, what's your schedule? Are you not attending the live class because of some job work? Then can't say anything. But others who are just 100% studying, make sure you attend it live. Okay? Praveen Kumar, one more problem. Nice question it is. Has given the details payment to K Research Limited. So you are donating for some research limited, K Research Limited. LMN and OPQ college. But they say K Research and LMN are approved, registered, so allowed. But OPQ is not a registered college. So if you donate for scientific research, it's not allowed. 20 and 15 is allowed. Payment to OPQ not allowed. Either you write like this and nil, the way I have written. If not, below the answer, you have to write the note. Are you all with me? आपको समझ में आ रहा है? Ma'am, but in our study material, so many notes are given. They are explanatory note. So that the student is reading the study material and following. Doesn't mean in exam you have to write 7-8 notes. Either for this, I can write note below. OPQ college is not approved and scientific research is not allowed. Or I have written here, not eligible and nil. Anything. The purpose, my habit is to write it in between with nil is so that later on we don't forget. Right? Payment to national laboratories, of course, allowed. Machinery purchased for in-house and salary paid. Both are allowed. So this makes it total. Okay, right. Thank you for commenting that it is super easy, crystal clear, all clear. So like this, you can do the 14th problem as homework. Any doubt you have, don't wait for the class to start tomorrow. You can ask me the doubts in the Telegram. Click the picture and send me the doubt. Still, if it is not clear, then you can definitely ask me. Okay, right. Yeah, in this question is very simple, but here plant and machinery is there 5 lakh. And they said that existing plant and machinery was sold for 16 lakhs. So 5 lakhs you have already claimed as expense. If it is sold for 16 lakhs, 5 lakh will be business income. And remaining 11 lakhs will be short-term capital gain. Why 5 lakh is business income? Because 5 lakh expenditure you have claimed, right? Suppose sale value is 3 lakh, then 3 lakh is business income. Suppose sale value is 11 lakh, then 5 lakh tak it is business income till cost and remaining 6 lakh is capital gain. I'm waiting now. Tell me whether everything is clear or not. Scientific research is over. You can get bit questions or you can get the total income question and one bit will be this. Now these two I want all of you to write in your book are for reading. Like scientific research is mandatorily asked, weightage wise also I am saying. These two you should know it. That's enough. Okay. For example, an SSC is incurred by way of payment of any sum to PSU or local authority association for carrying out eligible project. Means you are donating for eligible project. Ma'am, what is eligible project? Eligible project means project which helps in social and economic welfare and uplift of public. So for some socio-economic cause, if the company is doing expenditure, it's not that they are donating, but they are doing some expenditure. That cost is allowed under 35 AC. Okay? Right. Now, you know, ma'am, I'm not having business. I'm working in a company. I'm a job doing person. But still, I want to donate for eligible project. Then you will get the deduction in 80 GGB, 80 GGC. Yeah, I got in deductions. But just refer and learn. Okay? Right. Same way, rural development program. Nowadays, so many activities are done for the upliftment of the people in the villages and all. So, under this National Urban Poverty Eradication Fund, if you donate or contribute, 100% of that expenditure is allowed. Just read it. Now comes the one which is asked for 3-4 marks many times. Preliminary expenses. We all know that suppose if I take over the company on January 23 and I start the business on July 23, what am I doing from January to July? I'm taking SIN number. You know what is SIN number? Company identification number, directors ka registration number, articles, memorandum drafting, prospectus printing, shares and all, who will be the book builders, who will be the bankers. So a lot of preliminary or pre-operative work is going on. Yeah. And then when I start the business, all the legal expense, printing cost, prospectus, some expenditure is allowed here. But what about the preliminary expense? So they say whatever preliminary expense you have claimed, you can claim 1/5 every year for 5 years. Yeah. But 1/5 of not whatever preliminary expense you incurred, 5% of the cost of the project or cost of fixed asset. If you feel I'm just reading, keep patience. When I work out one problem, it will be clear. Pehle dekho. For non-corporate SSC also, preliminary expenses are allowed, but maximum up to 5% of the cost of the project. For corporate SSC, 5% of the cost of the project, job project shuru kar rahe uska 5%, or 5% of capital employed, whichever is beneficial. So obviously higher, right? Now, capital employed means issued capital, debentures, long-term borrowings, all on the last day of the previous year. So previous year ke last day, what is my own capital? What is my loan capital, debentures and all? Everything we will take, right? And take 5% of that. This is the expenditure allowed, and this expenditure is not allowed in single year. Because the benefit of preliminary expenses you will be deriving over years, it will be allowed 1/5 every year for 5 years. Okay? Right. Of course, audit karana padega. What is preliminary expenses? Legal cost, survey cost. You know, you do projections for 3 to 4 years and all that. Today's class is like this only. One concept, one problem. See, John Limited is an Indian company which set up an industrial unit. In connection with the new unit, following deductions are allowed. Preparation of the project report, market survey, legal expense. So what is the total expenses? 4 and 5, 9 and 2, 11 lakhs. What is the cost of the project for this company? 30 lakhs, 5%. What is the capital employed of this company? You all know what is capital employed? Last day of the preceding financial year, what's the capital? Own, loan, sub. So that is given 40 lakh. This is a question. This is the answer. तो 40 lakhs का 5% और 30 lakhs का 5%, whichever is higher. So what is actual preliminary expense incurred? Making project report, survey, legal expenses, 11 lakhs. How much is allowed? 2 lakh. How much is disallowed? 9 lakh. And 2 lakh is also allowed 1/5 every year, 40,000 for continuous 5 years. Clear? Take your time, 2 minutes. I'm here only, not giving a break. 2 minutes, I'll be back. आप क्वेश्चन देखो मैम, why you are not doing it in notebook? Because it's very simple, and this Sarathi compiler is prepared for with presentation exactly to be done in final exam. Yeah, you will not understand the address question if you're not having the hard copy. Anyone wants me to do it in writing, please let me know. Thank you for waiting. Clear? Chalo. Shall we write note for this? We are already writing the booster notes in our way. तो वहां जाके इसको add कर देते हैं. See, when I'm saying write it, ma'am, but you have given all printed. Still write it, no? See, we have written such nice gist booster note to revise one day before exam. Scientific research. Now, preliminary expenses. Don't just think it is allowed only to company, it's allowed to all the SSEs. Preliminary expenses. Allowed 5% of cost of project or 5% of capital employed. 5% of the cost of the project or 5% of the capital employed, whichever is higher. So maximum they are allowing preliminary expenses. If you have incurred 11 lakhs, but the 5% is coming to 2 lakh, only 2 lakh will be allowed. Second point is preliminary expenses allowed 1/5 every year. Once preliminary expenses 2 lakh is there, it will be allowed 1/5, 40,000 every year. See, if you can write this note with me, if you are not following, my writing is not much good, no? That's the benefit to student. Ma'am, आप तो सब अपने disadvantage में advantage बोलती हो. Yeah, when students know that once I fill up the board and they will not be able to copy, no, they are more alert. But I always say and write. So if you are not able to follow my writing, you can just listen and write. See, by writing this, we have the gist notes with us, booster notes. Chalo. Let's go to the next concept. 35 AD, specified businesses. You know, India is growing like anything in the last 10 decades, and the coming 10 decades, it's India only, to be honest, right? बहुत बार, many times I say this. Now, how, ma'am? So, how many of you have experienced that earlier all the airports were chota chota? If I can say, Hyderabad had a very small airport called as Begumpet Airport. Now we have a huge airport at Shamshabad. So, like this, all the airports are getting bigger and renovated, right? Same ways earlier when we used to go by road, we had to cross the cities in between. If I want to go from Hyderabad to Nagpur, I have to cross Nizamabad and all. Now every city is having outer ring road. Outer ring road is if you go via ring road, you can avoid getting inside the city and getting stuck in the traffic. So building up this outer ring road, Vande Bharat trains, airports, highways, metros, flyovers. Earlier there were hardly flyovers. Now in the city we have big flyovers which is saving our time in traffic. So all this requires money. So government says that for infrastructure related project, if you're spending money, then you will get a deduction in 3580. You know what is 3580? Specified businesses. related to which again revenue and capital expense all will be allowed. ठीक है? So ma'am ये list learn करना पड़ेगा? No, just have an idea, you will be able to solve question. 35 ideas specified businesses related to which revenue and capital expense all are allowed. Cold chain facility for agricultural produce, we all know. Nowadays, we get 365 days those vegetables, those fruits. So cold storage mein, you're storing the vegetable produce, poultry farms. So if you set up a cold storage for storing agricultural produce, your revenue and capital expense all is allowed in single year under 35 AD. Are you getting? Setting up and operating warehouse, laying and operating natural gas, crude oil. Nowadays, so many cities, it's already started that gas is provided through pipeline. Building and operating 2-star and above hotel. We want to develop tourism. So near Meenakshi Temple, near Charminar, near Taj Mahal, hotels are being set up. Multi-speciality hospital with more than 100 beds. Housing project under slum development. Chals are there, no? Slum. So they are taken over, towers are built up, and those chal owners are given flat over there. So those kind of housing project. Then production of the fertilizers, ये भी same है. Setting up of inland container depots. When we work through waterways at the port, we need depots so that we can unload the goods from bigger ship, carry it till shore in the smaller ship. From there, either the goods are lifted in crane. So like this, for all this work, we need to set up the depots. Warehousing facility for storage of sugar, beekeeping and production of honey. Nowadays, honey is also produced artificially, I mean, say in the way they do proper processing. So all that, iron ore, setting up of fabricator, ये सब सिर्फ read कर लो बस है. Operating, maintaining an infrastructure. So if your business comes under infrastructure development of India, definitely in 35 AD you will get a deduction of capital expenditure, of revenue expenditure, or capital expenditure does not include land, goodwill and instruments. फिर वही बात. Even for 35 AD, if you have purchased land, it's not allowed. Yeah, right. Second hand नहीं होना है. All. You have to get the books audited. Under 35 AD, you purchase an asset and completely claim it in the P&L account. You have to use this asset for at least 8 years, right? Now, if the SSC is claiming 35 AD specified business, it cannot claim section 10AA. What is section 10AA? Total turnover, total profit, export turnover, export profit, cross multiply. That's not दो बार benefit आप नहीं ले सकते. Yeah? Due to 35 AD, if there is a loss, this loss can be market very important for MCQ. लिखो. Are you all following? Today we are doing different. I told you yesterday only. Yesterday we were in a different learning mode. आज का class अलग है. Easy है, बहुत easy है. What is 35 AD saying? See, my profit was, GP was 80. My revenue expense is 40. My capital expense is 60. Now capital expense are allowed. So obviously there's a loss of 20. This loss, which is due to 35 AD, can be carried forward for indefinite period to be set off against 35 AD. So 35 AD में बिल्कुल loss आएगा and you can carry it forward. Yeah, right. Same way, cost of the asset, if it is allowed, 35 AD में, and if you sell it, it will be treated as business income. If you use it, then depreciate and take the remaining. 1 minute. Some of you may be thinking, ma'am, what are you teaching? This part not clear, no problem. See the example. Cost of the asset is 100, charged off to P&L. 100 rupees पूरा capital expenditure 35 AD में डाल दी. After 2 years, the cost of the asset is added back and it is shown as business income. समझ में आ रहा है? You debited the 100 rupees and you claimed it. After 2 years, you said, no, I'm not using this asset for scientific research. So 100 rupees अब जो expenditure था, 100 will become your business income. But after 2 years, so will you allow depreciation? Yes. Say depreciation in the first year is 10%, 10, then on 99. So I hope you are getting 100 rupees पूरा allow किए. So no depreciation. Now after 2 years, 100 is treated as business income. So at least for those years which are over, can we claim depreciation? Yes. 10 for 1 year, 9. So 81 will be treated as business income. Yes. After using the asset of 10 years, if it is sold for 30, 30 will become business income that I already told. Shall we do one sum in writing? Yeah. Hope Limited commenced the business of operating 3-star hotel. Cost of the land is given. Again, I am repeating, cost of land is not allowed. वहां scientific research में भी नहीं, preliminary में भी नहीं, किधर भी नहीं. So cost of the land is not allowed. Cost of the construction. Last year you have incurred construction cost 30, then 150. Plant and machinery acquired during the year 30, and net profit before depreciation. So either you can claim depreciation or you can claim net profit. I mean, say asset ka cost full. Okay, right. Now, net profit before depreciation for financial year. Okay. Shall we do this in writing? Already they have given you net profit before claiming all this. So can we start with the net profit 80, or you can take it in the end. Now, cost of land is not allowed. See, either you can write like this, cost of land is not allowed, or if you skip, you have to write a note. Okay? Cost of construction is allowed in 35 AD as it is 2-star and above hotel. So, bilkul allowed it. 30 or 150. Next, plant and machinery purchased 30, allowed it. So what is the total cost allowed under 35D? 210. But in that year, what is the profit? 80. So 130 is the loss. And this loss is because of the 35 AD. Are you getting or not? 35 AD says land is not allowed. Building and all is allowed. So 210 loss are hai. But what's the profit before putting 35 AD expenditures? 80. तो 210 लॉस सेट ऑफ करो. अभी भी 130 लॉस इज ड्यू टू दिस. I hope you are getting because of 35D. So this 130 loss can be carried forward for indefinite period. Easy. I want to repeat the gist. 35D revenue and capital expenditure is allowed. Yeah. And if there is a loss because of 35D, because capital expenditure is allowed, तो प्रॉफिट से कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर ज्यादा हो गया तो लॉस आया. दिस लॉस कैन बी कैरी फॉरवर्ड फॉर indefinite period, but to be set off only in the specified business, not otherwise. ठीक है? Right. One more example is there. Net profit is 80, capital expenditure is allowed. Here capital expenditure is 250, out of which 100 lakhs. It's 1.5 crore means 100 lakhs. So 150. So net profit mein capital expenditure is allowed other than land cost. See, land cost is 100. उसको छोड़ के बाकी allowed है. and there's a loss, but similar kind of the business, somewhere else there's a profit, so you can set off. Okay, frankly this is homework, but I just checked it. I hope 35AD is clear. What's the gist of 35AD? Specified businesses, whatever expenditure you have incurred, revenue and capital is allowed except cost of land. But when you close the specified business, then whatever you discard will be treated as business income, right? Now, because in 35AD, profit of hotel is 80 lakhs, but revenue and capital expenses 130 lakhs. So it's going to show a loss. This generally all the losses are carried forward for 4 to 8 years. This loss will be carried forward for indefinite period to be set off only in specified businesses. ठीक है? Right. देखो. So that's all about 35D. License is also there only for CMA students or CMA students anyhow. I'll take separate class that time. Now we are moving towards these small deductions. What we are doing in today's class, dear students? Ye allowed hai, this is allowed, scientific research is allowed, preliminary expenses allowed, 35D is allowed. So that when we do the total problem, we know what is add and less. Okay. Just today we'll take the break little early. Take a break of 5 minutes, assemble back, we'll continue. And at the end today, we will do some nice problems also. Right? Okay. Okay, are you also back after a break? Anyone is having any doubt? Yes. Please subscribe to the channel because all the classes are live. This is not pre-recorded classes uploaded. Right now I'm teaching and that's how it should be. So that if you have any doubts, you can clear it. That's the purpose of live classes, right? And hit the like button so that YouTube will boost it and share it with most of the student, more number of the students who wish to learn it conceptually. Okay, chalo. Let us recollect what we have done in today's class. We said that, okay, if this expense is allowed and if it is debited in P&L account, we don't have to do anything, add or less. So, ma'am, what is allowed? Section 30 says related to plant and machinery, building. 30 and 31 says all repairs, insurance, depreciation, all is allowed. Section 32 talks about depreciation allowed. Scientific research expenses allowed subject to 4-5 bits for which I have given booster notes. Please comment below if the booster notes are clear or not. Yeah, I know it's super easy. Thank you. Right? But booster notes, are you all writing? Click the picture and post it in the Telegram after the live class is over. That will motivate so many other students also. Literally, last time also I took Sarathi practice batch live in YouTube, and when the result came, this was the feedback given by students that whatever I made them write, already notes are there printed. DT Sarathi compiler is having concepts, question, answer. Did you get it? Scientific research concept, question, answer. Preliminary expenses, question, answer. वो तो है, but still if you write once in your way, it will be more clear, right? Preliminary expenses allowed maximum up to 5% of the cost of project or capital employed, whichever is higher. And that 5% is also allowed 1/5 every year. 35 AD specified businesses. Production of fertilizer, 2-star and above hotel, multi-speciality hospital, housing project, warehouse, storage of agricultural produce. All expenditure, revenue and capital is allowed, but because you are doing some specified business, your income is less and revenue and capital, all expenses are allowed more, so there's going to be loss. This loss can be carried forward for indefinite period to be set off only against specified business. Now if you can correlate, I'm already teaching you set off part also here. चलो आगे चलते हैं. Continuing with the list of what is allowed. Then we will see list of what is not allowed. Once this is clear, we can start solving the questions. The big 14 marks question. Okay, right. Agricultural extension project. So many times government is giving lot of the help for the agricultural produce development and all. For that, if you have incurred any expense, it's 100% allowed. Skill development expense. Yeah. To develop the skills so that more business is generated, that is 100% allowed. These are all for reading. VRS. Voluntary retirement scheme. Detail we will do in salary chapter right now. If the employees are taking VRS, when they have to retire at 60, at the 58, they are saying, no, sir, give us lump sum amount, we want to retire and go. Okay, go. So when my employee was going, I gave him 5 lakh rupees lump sum. So 1/5 is allowed as expenditure for every year because it's a lump sum amount. But VRS is allowed 1/5 of what is paid. I have to pay 5 lakh to my employees. But the very first year I paid 4 lakhs. So 4 lakhs ka 1/5, 80,000. Next year I paid 1 lakh. So 1 lakh ka 1/5. I hope you are getting. Whatever VRS is paid, 1/5 is allowed. This is very, very important for MCQs. That is why concept example you'll find. ये भी telecommunication अभी मैंने छोड़ दिया है. It's for CMA students. Separately I'll take one class. Other deductions. Section 36(1) says you can take insurance premium. See, when we have business related assets, we can take insurance. Can the company take insurance for the health of the employees? You know, health insurance are there. Life insurance to hota hai, health insurance. So yes, that is all allowed, provided you pay the premium other than cash. Can you give bonus and commission to your employee? Yes, allowed. Interest paid in respect of capital borrowed. If you have taken loan from bank, debentures, all, whatever interest you pay is allowed. But of course, it has to be reasonable. You can't pay 35% interest and all, then you will get a scrutiny. Contribution to RPF, Recognized Provident Fund, Superannuation Fund, all is allowed subject to 43B. 43B, you know what does it says? Ma'am, 43B तो अभी आपने पढ़ाया नहीं है, पढ़ेंगे. But because it is here, let me make this example very clear for labor chapter and costing, for salary chapter and for here. Suppose this 100 is your salary, then employer is giving you 112. Listen, your salary is 112. Acha, listen, take 112 rupees I'll put in your behalf in the provident fund. So this employer's contribution is allowed if it is paid before due date of filing the return. 43B, you know what people do? People will show outstanding expense in March, expense to outstanding, expense to outstanding, and they will reduce the profit by putting outstanding expense. But those outstanding expenses should be paid, no? Expense to outstanding, outstanding to bank should be paid. When? Before due date of filing the return. Then only it is allowed. Who says this? 43B. So employer's contribution 12 rupees is allowed as expense for employer. Employer के लिए salary 100 है, PF, so total expense is 112. This 12 will be allowed if this is outstanding and paid before due date of filing the return. Now, employees' contribution to PF. Yeah, let us see how to work for that. Employees' contribution to PF. Employees getting 100 salary, 12, this is employer R. This is employee. And employee is getting a check of 88. Listen, your salary is 100, I'll give you 88 ka check, 12 rupees your. So ma'am, should we put 24 rupees in the PF? Yes. So this 12 rupees, which I have as an employer, have to deduct and pay to the provident fund and give 88 to employee. Now this 12 rupees, if I am not paying by 15th of the next month, it will not be allowed as expense. I want to go more slow if you wish to, because this is an amendment, not of this year, but last year, 20 to 23, or last year ke amendment bhi aate hain. It's a very common trend that in the financial year 23-24, especially for May and June exam, one or two last year's amendments are also asked. So take your time and tell me, is it clear or not? Employer's contribution 112. So 12 rupees is allowed provided you pay now or you pay before due date of filing the return. Employee's contribution 12 rupees is allowed only if it is paid by 15th of the next month. That's what is the due date in the PF Act. Ma'am, I have not paid by 15th of next month, but of course I paid before March. Not allowed. Not allowed. Take your time. I have though printed also very clearly, but अगर कोई doubt है तो पूछो. चलें. Next one is bed debt. You know what is bed debt? Party to sales. Bank to party. I have sold the goods of 100. and they paid only 10 rupees. Can I say 90 bank to party? 10. Can I say party has to pay me 90 rupees as discount? ऐसे तो नहीं होता है. Where it happens कि 90 rupees is discount, we will also go and buy them. So 90 rupees which we have sold the goods, party to sales. Our datas did not pay. That bad debt is allowed as expense, subject to same conditions like unrealized rent in house property. Were you all there in the unrealized rent lecture also? Yes? Right. So that same thing. Bad debt should be incidental. Bad debt means our debtors did not pay the money. So I've put it in the P&L account. See, if you're not able to prove the bad debt, you will not be allowed. Otherwise, like people will show genuinely good data as bad debt and claim expenditure, reduce profit, reduce tax. So bad debt should be related to business. It should have been considered in computing income. Matlab sales should be recorded. Bad debt should be written off in books. Okay, provision for bad debts and all is not allowed. Huh? Income Tax Act says if actually there is a bad debt, you can claim it. For the purpose in respect of which debt is incurred, it should be continued. Business should be continued. Or bad debt हो रहा है तो allowed है. Now for the purpose any bad debt or irrevocable shall not include any provision for bad and doubtful debts. Therefore, mere provision is not sufficient. Provision for bad and doubtful debts has got no meaning. Actually, it should be written off. Now, so I have sold the goods of 1,000 rupees, party to sales 1,000, and he didn't pay anything. So 1,000 I have debited in P&L and credited the party. After 2-3 years, I met him. His name was Ketan. Ketan to sales 1,000, bad debt to Ketan. I closed Ketan's account that he's not going to pay, and I've put everything in bad debts. After 2 years, I meet Ketan and Ketan says, ma'am, I want to pay. I say, forget it, I've put in bad debt and closed. He says, no, karmic account will go on and I have to pay. Chalo, theek hai, le lete hain. So that bad debts will be treated as what? Business income. Are you all getting? Whenever bad debt is incurred, it's a business expenditure. But if bad debt is recovered, bank to bad debt recovered, he said, no, ma'am, please keep 1,000 rupees. That time I didn't have money, but now I'm earning good, God's grace, and I want to repay. So bad debt account debit to bad debt already you have debited to party, you have put 1,000 rupees in bad debt. Now when you recover, bank account debit to bad debt record. Ma'am, आप tax में entry क्यों पढ़ा रहे? Because if the journal entry is clear, it will be clear. So now see, this aspect, especially these two, are asked in exam in the 14 marks question. One bit will be bad debt. And you should know it. See what I have written in bold. One second. Yeah. Okay. Now see, bad debt is earlier 100% allowed. I debited bad debt in books 1,000 and it was allowed by the department. Now I have recovered 1,000. Fully taxable as income? Yes. Irrespective of I am doing that business or I have closed. Now, bad debt 100% earlier disallowed. I have debited 1,000 rupees. Government said no, there is no proof and this is fake. This expenditure is not allowed. So that time only they disallowed the bad debt. When bad debt was disallowed, that means it was added back. I've already paid the tax. Now after 3 years when I recover, should it be taxable again? No. I don't want to go to the next part unless you put me a message. Is this clear or not? But that is going to be a very important adjustment. So take care of this. Clear hai? Yeah, we will definitely work out some problems after doing add and less. Tomorrow I'll teach you comparatively 44 AD series. Clear? Dekho. Bed debts earlier allowed 1000. Now recovered business income. Bed debts earlier only disallowed. So that time only it was disallowed. That time only it became taxable. Now if I recover, again shall I pay the tax? No. That's why it's not taxable. Yes. All right. Thank you for the response. Now let us see the next one. Bed debt allowed partly recovered now. तब क्या होगा? Right? Taxable amount is amount recovered minus unallowed. Unallowed amount is we have claimed 1000. They didn't disallow. This was like 100% allowed, 100% disallowed. Can they allow 5? तब क्या होगा? For that, this is my own created table. Check it whether you follow it or not. देखो, bed debt 1000 debited, 1000 allowed. Now nothing is disallowed. 1000 पूरा allow किया, 1000 recover हुआ, and this bed debt recovered is taxable as what? Business income. But ma'am, when bed debt recovered, I have retired, I've stopped doing business. Still, it will be business income. Now, 1000 debited in the books. 1000 allow karo bole, to they didn't allow, not allow. So if it is not allowed, that time only it is disallowed, that time only it is added back, and you have paid tax 1000. Now it is recovered, not taxable. You cannot tag the things twice. Yeah, you will not find this example anywhere. This is with the years of teaching and with the way I give it in my offline classes. That's the way I've printed this example. Ab dekho, 1000 bedded books mein tha. Department said no, 1000 we will not allow, but according to the proof given, 800 we will allow. Now what is disallowed and taxable there only? 200. We debited 1000, but they allowed 800. 200 is already disallowed, bed debt disallowed, and hence taxable. 200. Yeah. Now, bed debt recovered is 800. Are you getting? I want to go little slow because thoda sa abhi yahan se twist hai, part hai. How much you got? 800. Yeah. Always when you recover, in that 200 unallowed amount, first we will set off. I hope you are getting. I claimed 1000. 800 only allowed. How much was bed debt disallowed or unallowed, not allowed? 200. तो ये तभी taxable हो गया ना. Now whenever you recover 800, 200 is the amount which was disallowed then. I have paid the tax. So even though I have recovered 800, how much I'll pay the tax? 600. Clear? Take your time. Or एक example. 1000 we have debited. 800 they allowed. 200 not allowed. The 200 became taxable. Now subsequently I recovered 500. In 500, 200 is that which was unallowed, disallowed. And I've already paid tax that time. So I will pay tax only on 300. Simple. 1000. Bed debt allowed is 800. Okay. Now, 200 तभी disallow हो गया था. Now you have recovered 900. When you have recovered 900, out of that first adjust the amount which was disallowed then and taxable in that year only. 200. Remaining 700 taxable. Now, 1000 debited in books. 800 allowed. 200 तब भी disallow हो गया. You have paid tax. Now they said 150 is recovered. 150. ये एक negative है. I hope you understand this. 150 is recovered. That means how much is allowed? 850. But you to claimed only 800. 50 more you can allow as deduction. These are all business income. This is business deduction. Take your time, check, ask, doubt. थोड़ा सा है इसमें, important है, आराम से करो. See, today I don't know, you need to either compliment me or give some comments for improvement. That are the Sarathi notes clear or not? One concept, one example, one concept. अभी तो आगे family planning और देखो. Done? चलो. So, if some of the students are honestly confused, I will highly recommend you to learn two bits. ये देखो, exam में कोई नींद में से उठाए तो बोलना. Bed debt, that time allowed. Now recovered, business income. Whether I'm doing business or not. Bed debt, that time only disallowed. I claimed 1,000. Department said, no, it's not bed debt, it's fake. You don't have proof. 1,000 disallowed. Taxable there itself. Now when I recovered, shall I tax it again? Answer is no. If you remember these two steps, it would be good. Next is family planning expense. Family planning is allowed only in case of company. So I have written in bold. Only in case of the company. Family planning. Ma'am, how are we just going on learning? Keep patience, dear students. When I start solving the problem, एक scientific research आएगा, एक preliminary, एक bed debt, एक family plan. One bit we will apply and solve the add and less 10 marks, 14 marks question. Family planning expenditure are allowed only in case of company. If they have done some family planning related expense for their employees, it's allowed. If it is capital expenditure, it is allowed in 5 years, 1/5 every year. Revenue expenditure, 100% allowed, right? Say 500, allowed. Capital expenditure, 2,500, 1/5 allowed every year for 5 years. VRS, 1/5 allowed, right? So like this, many expenses are there. But let me make it clear again, dear students. Family planning is allowed only for companies. ये भी MCQ में ही पूछते हैं family planning. Now the point where most of the students go wrong. This is my own created problem. That's why I've taken months to make this Sarathi book, because I feel that students are having doubt at this point. Chalo add it. Yes. Yeah, once we complete ADLESS, I think today only by the end we should do one nice problem. Taxes and duty. GST and custom duty are allowed as expense, right or not? GST, output GST minus input, whatever GST you pay, is it your business expenditure? Yes. Custom duty, is it your business expenditure? Yes. Then, if GST is allowed as expense, refund of GST is a business income. In my P&L account, if I am debiting GST as allowed, then GST refund is my business income. Now, interest on arrears of GST is allowed. Agar GST, if you are paying late, auto mode, if you go to the portal, interest is charged. That interest is charged, but penalty is not allowed. Super. What do you mean by penalty? Why do you have to pay penalty when you do something wrong? इन कॉन्सेप्ट क्लासेस, ऑफलाइन क्लासेस में अगर किसी का फोन बजता है तो चॉकलेट खिलानी पड़ती है. क्लास में एक बार क्लास स्टार्ट होने के बाद, इफ यू एंटर द क्लास, you have to wait outside for 15 minutes and then the class will start. So it is all like that. When do you have to pay a penalty? When you do something wrong. So can you, this is like a common argument by students. They say, ma'am, penalty I am paying in GST, in custom and income tax, but it is for my business only, no? But why you have to pay penalty in GST? Because you have done something wrong. You didn't allow input tax credit, or you didn't pay the tax in time. Other persons say you have not taken the invoice properly, something. So penalty is only payable when you have done something wrong. Even though penalty is related to business, it's not allowed because it's not a good expenditure. GST allowed, custom duty allowed, interest on loan, late payment of GST allowed, GST refund, business income, custom duty, business income. So many times, dear students, in the P&L account credit side, it is written custom duty recovered. Custom duty recovered is a business income because custom duty paid is allowed. Penalty on GST paid 700. Will you allow as expense? No. Interest is allowed. समझ में आ रहा है? Last one now in this, income tax. Is it allowed as your business expenditure? No. Why? Understand the why. You pay income tax on 5 heads of income. Salary pay, house property, business head, capital gain, other source. So why income tax is only debited in the P&L account? So income tax is not allowed as expense. So now refund of excess income tax paid, IT refund, P&L credit side में लिखा है. IT refund. Is it your business income? No. I hope you are getting. Income tax is not allowed as business expenditure. So income tax refund, is it a business income? No. Remove. Kachra we call it. Nikal do. Interest on IT refund is very well taxable in income from other sources, but business head में तो नहीं आएगा. देखो. Check for yourself this note. STT, CTT 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th point, just read it on your own. 2 minutes. I'll be back. पढ़ो please. Yes, yes, yes. Let us continue. Okay. Once again, I want to read. Dear students, these bits are super important when you solve the add and less 14 marks question. Again, I'm repeating. See, 1 second. Huh? Yeah. GST and custom duty are allowed as expense. Interest on GST is allowed, but penalty is infringement of law. You have done some mistakes, so not allowed. Done? Right. Next, income tax is not allowed as expense, and hence income tax refund is not a business income. So in business income credit side, if they give you IT refund, income tax refund, remove, because it's not a business income. And interest on income tax refund is very well taxable as income from other sources. Today's class, if you repeat it one more time, it will be very clear to all of you. Next, STT, security transaction tax is paid on purchase and sale of securities, right? It is allowed as expense. This deduction is allowed only if securities are held as stock in trade. Buying and selling of securities is your business. Then whatever security transaction tax you have paid is allowed as business expenditure. STT is not allowed as expense. Star mark, very important for true and false, MCQ and capital gain chapter. If you are treating the securities or shares as capital asset, now when you sell the shares, they will give you STT paid 1,000. Will you allow as expense there? No. STT paid is allowed as expense here. Clear to all of you? If you treat it as business. Now, CTT, commodity transaction tax, which is paid on crude oil, gold, like this, some of the items. This is also allowed as business expenditure, provided you teach the commodity trading as stock in trade. Huh? You're buying and selling, then if you have paid CTT, it is allowed. Discount on zero coupon bonds. The name itself says zero coupon bonds. Now, what do you mean by bonds? Can anyone say? What do you mean by bonds? Bonds क्या चीज है? What do you mean by bonds? Yes, it is a hi-fi name for debentures. It's not James Bond. James Bond नहीं है. Bonds is hi-fi name for debentures. When you put the money in bonds, your money is locked for 5-6 years. You get interest and your maturity principal. है ना? ठीक है? Right? So now, zero coupon bonds means those bonds in which you will not receive interest twice a year. And these are issued at discount. Discount can be written off on a pro rata basis over a period of bond. Discount is the difference between maturity value and the issue price. Scheduled bank, PSUs and all, like IDBI, deep discount bonds. ऐसे जो चलते हैं ना? Yeah, very correct. Now see, because this point is tricky, example. Wherever you will see it is little tricky, I have added examples. Suppose bonds are issued by IDBI, face value 100 at 82. I want to repeat. Deep discount bonds, zero coupon bonds, they are issued at less than face value. So they are issued at 82. Say for a lock-in period of 6 years. 6 years tak don't expect any interest twice a year and all. After 6 years, the IDBI bank will give you 82 ka 100. So what is income for you? 18. 18 is what? Expenditure for bank? Yes. But say if it is for 6 years, you can claim 3 lakhs every year. Are you getting clear? Thank you. Thank you for the amazing response in the live chat. Good. When the result comes and if these lectures are helpful, of course, it's not helpful. For sure, you will clear the exam if you're doing in writing what I'm writing, if you're listening carefully, and if you're doing the homeworks. A lot of energy is required. That's why I take breaks and drink water. These are not routine classes where I say, okay, I'll sit, आप लोग ये लिख लो, है ना? चलो. So the concept of zero coupon, नाम ही बोल रहा है zero coupon. What is coupon? Whoever has got interest coupon will receive interest, but there are no coupons. Just put 82 rupees after 6 years, we'll give you 100. Don't expect anything in the 6 years. That's what. Ma'am, why we are studying all this in business head? 18 rupees, is it the expenditure for the bank or for the company? Because bank is getting 82 and after 6 years they are paying you 100. So is 18 rupees discount for the bank? Yes. For how many years? 6 years, say. So 3 lakh rupees every year they can allow in the P&L account. Amount of expenditure incurred by cooperative society for purchase of sugar cane, that is allowed. Mark to market loss or expected loss as per ICDS. We follow ICDS for computing business income and other source. So mark to market loss is scripts. In the scripts, what is loss on 31st March? Okay. So as per ICDS, if they are lost, they are allowed. Otherwise, no problem. 31st March को कुछ भी rate रहने दो. Let it continue. Yeah. Is it clear? Mark to market loss is allowed as per ICDS. I think these two, if you can just are for reading enough. Don't dive in detail. ये पूरा 13, 12, but of course it's a part of your syllabus. Important is 8th bit. Taxes wala part. Contribution towards pension scheme. Yeah. Can employer contribute to the National Pension Scheme, Atal Pension Yojana? Yes. How much? 10% of the salary. Salary includes DA if the terms of employment so provide, but excludes all the other allowances and perquisites. Clear to all of you? Salary includes DA. I think this also, if you want, you can write refer deduction. Who can claim this? Employer. Employer can pay up to 10% of the salary plus DA to employees pension scheme, Atal Pension Yojana, right? 10%. Utna hi allowed hai. If they pay excess, it will be disallowed. This is a study material example solved here. Very nice. You can check it orally, no problem. Written में हम बहुत अच्छे अच्छे problem करेंगे, provided you all have the printout. Otherwise, tomorrow when I put my left hand and read and solve it, you will go blank. Roy Limited contributes 20% of the basic salary. Okay. Under 80cc2, DA is 40% of the basic salary. And basic salary is 10 lakhs. What is the DA? 40%, 14 lakhs. So how much company employer has contributed to pension scheme? 20% of the basic. 10 lakh ka 20%, 2 lakh. But how much is allowed? Yeah, just now we have seen 10% of basic and DA. Basic and DA is 14 lakhs, uska 10%, 140. Employer ki mercy, he is very happy with the employee. He will contribute 20% of the salary in employees pension scheme. Uski mercy, he can contribute 40%. So he has contributed 20% of the basic. Allowed is, how much is allowed? 20% of the basic he has contributed. Allowed is 10% of basic and D. Remaining is disallowed in the hands of the firm. Nice, clear? Chalo. So here we complete all the list of allowed from 30 to 36. But we all know nature of business is different. For example, someone dealing into computers are purchased and sold. For me, my laptop, my computer, they are my asset. So for any expenditure which is allowed and not covered above, because there are 1,000 kind of businesses, how can we make a list that this is allowed and this is not allowed? So in that case, section 37 comes into play and it says expenditure should be, 37 says general deduction is allowed other than 30 to 36. Expenditure should not be expenditure in nature of. See, if that expense is allowed in section 30 to 36, then to no problem. But not allowed, then this is like Brahmas. It will be allowed in 37. It should not be in the nature of capital expense. Capital expense are not allowed except scientific research in 35T. It should not be in the nature of personal, or it should be extended wholly and exclusively for the purpose of business and profession. Ma'am, I'm spending this, like I'll give you one example. Every Diwali we have puja in our office with all the staff. So we get puja samagri, we get sweets, we get garlands, fruits, and we do Lakshmi puja. Okay. So we have spent 5,000. Now, is this Diwali puja expense covered in 30 to 36? No. Is it a capital expense? No. Is it a personal expense? No. All employees are also invited in the Diwali bash. So, will it be allowed? Yes. It's not a capital expenditure. It's not a personal expenditure. It's not an expenditure which is allowed in 30 to 36. Then very well it is allowed in 37. समझ में आ रहा है what is 37? What is not allowed in 30 to 36 and still you want to allow? It will be allowed in 37. The expenditure should not have been incurred by SSE, this is the latest amendment, for any purpose which is an offense or prohibited by law. Like recently, All India Medical Association, IMA, what is it called? India Level Medical Association. They said, kya bolte hain? I think IMA only, yeah. What Indian Medical Association said that so many pharmaceutical companies, dear students, what they do, they give samples of their medicines to the doctors, and to the doctors they give freebies like lot of benefit and all. You please recommend our medicine to the patient. So they said ki okay, is this expenditure incurred by, say, a pharmaceutical company for business purpose? Yes. Is it like an advertisement? Yeah. Whatever freebies they are paying to doctors, who? Pharmaceutical company. Is it related to business? Yes. So it should be allowed in section 37. Now they said, you cannot allow anything in the name of 37. Tomorrow to you will say, we are paying hafta. Bribing every week, someone comes and takes the hafta. But I am paying hafta or bribing for my business purpose. Please allow. It's not going to be allowed. Followed? So, any expenditure should not be incurred by SSE for purpose which is an offense in law. It's not right to give freebies and, manipulate the doctors. It's not allowed. Indian Medical Association said it's not allowed. To provide any benefit perquisite whether or not carried on for business and profession and acceptance of such benefit. Yeah. So, and to compound an offense like giving bribe, hafta, freebies to, it's not allowed. You cannot say, please allow bribe of 5 lakhs because I have given that bribe for my business purpose. So here we complete on what is allowed. Now we are going to what is disallowed, which is very interesting, and same is there in income from other sources. I'll not teach again there. And then last 15 minutes we are doing add and less problems. ठीक है, right? देखो, this is just for reading. They say that company related following expenses are allowed. Debenture expenses are allowed. Bonus issue is allowed. Discount on debentures. Just now we saw deep discount bonds and all allowed. Premium on zero coupon bonds allowed. Where a company permits directors to use company's vehicle for personal purpose, it cannot be said that such expense for personal, it's allowed. Companies, they give the chauffeur and the car to the cream employees for Sundays also. It's allowed. Very well, it is allowed. Legal expenses are allowed. Legal expenses not necessary in house, बाहर वालों को भी देते हैं ना, वो भी allowed है. Demerger amalgamation expenses are allowed 1/5 every year. In short, bonus, buyback and all expense are allowed because there is no change in capital. But if you make a change in capital, that is not allowed. Other than this, any expenditure incurred by company under 37 for CSR, you all know what is CSR? Corporate social responsibility. If company का net worth इतना है, 5% spend करना पड़ेगा, it is not allowed as business expenditure, as it is application. See, companies having good income. Suppose Reliance Industries is earning huge. Can they say as a CSR, let us spend 5% of the profit on conservation of environment, and for that we will hold drawing competition in schools. So CSR expenditure are you earn and out of that you spend for good cause. It has got nothing to do with your business expenditure. Are you all with me? CSR, corporate social responsibility, is like you have earned 50 crore profit, spend 5 crore for good. So this is application of income. This is not my business expenditure. I have earned 50 crore. Government is saying you're doing good job, spend it. 1 second, dear students. Read it. If you have any doubt, ask me. Not well, little, suffering from cold, so I'm going out and drinking hot water. One minute, dear students. If you have any doubt, you can ask. All right. So I hope, what is the gist of this? CSR expenses are not allowed. You can put a block like this. Now let us start with the negative talk. Negative talk for business head is this is not allowed. This is not allowed. This is not allowed. Just now I told you income tax, STT, interest and all is not allowed. Fees paid to registrar for enhancement of the authorized capital. So you're paying the fees and because of that your capital is increasing. Not allowed. Taxpayer would not be entitled to any deduction in expenditure. See, these two topics, one is business head and one is, what do you call it as? Capital gain. ये कैसे है कि 2-3 क्लास तक सिर्फ concept will go on. So you can't say we are bored of learning the concept and we want to do some problem. You can't do the problem unless you know all the concepts. Clear? Chalo. फिर भी there's 21 question which I am solving now. A taxpayer would not be allowed as any deduction if expense is incurred by way of advertisement in souvenir of political party. Market very important. Elections are coming now in May 2024, right or not? So suppose in elections, one side it's like one political party and other side your company is at. Can you help them distribute the pamphlets? No, not allowed. Advertisement you cannot do in political party, it's not allowed. Any tax of employee paid by employer. Employer can give perquisites to employee, but on that taxes also paid by employer, not allowed. Transfer to reserves and provisions, disallowed. See, when you transfer from reserve, it's not an expense. You're taking the money from general reserve and you're putting in dividend equalization reserve. So that's not allowed. Same way, provision is an estimated expense. ये कोई book नहीं बताएगा, but जब exam में PNL में आएगा ना, that time you'll remember. Provision. What do you mean by provision? If today's class 20% you felt it was like accounts, it is. What is provision for gratuity? We just made some expenditure provision because we don't know how much is going to be actual expense. So income tax act says provisions are not allowed. If they are actual expense, it will be allowed. Shall I give you 5 minutes of time and you try all this on your own? Allowed, disallowed, bina answer dekhe. What will be allowed and what will not be allowed, and then I will discuss. Until now, whatever we have studied, usi mein se the answer is there. So try to write on the left hand side with pencil. This is allowed, not allowed, full allowed, how. Then we will continue. 2 minutes. Yes. I know there are too many breaks today. Really sorry for that. Chalo. So, repeat this. If today's class you are feeling it's all like concept, you need to keep patience. Tomorrow, when we solve the problems, no, repeat it till the time you apply it and solve question. Income tax is not a theory exam. It's not even practical. It's mixture. So you have to apply the theoretical knowledge and solve the problems in exam. Clear to all of you? Right. Yes. Solved it? I want all of you to answer, please, quickly. Share your answers in the chat box also. Whatever we have learned, we are applying it. Signed, whether the information is following is given. Explain in brief how the other above items will be dealt with and compute the income is not required. Scientific research is related to business 240, fully of revenue nature. So it is allowed. Yes, right. Building acquired for scientific research, including the cost of the land, 5 lakh. Okay. So total expenditure for building is 12 lakhs. But in that 5 lakh is land cost, not allowed. So what will be allowed? 7 lakhs. Amount paid to Indian Institute. This is a past exam paper. As it is, they have asked this. Oh, superb. So nice to see you all working the answers in the live chat. Very good, very good. Hope you all write business head and capital gain exam also. थोड़ा सा पेशेंस चाहिए. There are many students who listen and they run away. अरे मैम आज कॉन्सेप्ट ही पढ़ा रहे but I am helpless. Routine 8 to 10 classes of business head, 8 classes of capital gain. So these are the topics which are not difficult but they are vast. Unless I don't complete everything, I can't go to the problems. Okay. C का answer. Amount paid to Indian Institute Bangalore. Is it allowed? Yes. Very good. Very good. Sarvana, your answer is correct. That means you're following. Demerger expenses. Okay, this year is wrong, but it is demerger expenses. For the current year only, it will be. Yes, what's the answer for the D bit? Demerger expenses. How much it will be allowed? You know what is demerger? Splitting of the company. 5 lakh will be allowed 1/5 every year under section 35 DT. Yes, great. Now, contribution to employees pension scheme amounted to 30 lakhs, amount above 10%. See, as an employer, I can put 10% of the salary and DA to the pension scheme. So, how much I have put? 30 lakhs. But above 10%, I have put 7 lakhs. So, 7 lakhs will be disallowed. 23 lakhs will be allowed. Easy? Right. Next. Nice to see all answers in the chat box. Tax on non-monetary perquisites provided to the employees borne by employer. Employer is giving employee perquisite, fine. Perquisite is benefit in kind. Now on that perquisite, tax is also paid by employer. Your own income tax is not allowed and you are paying tax for employee, not allowed. 4,50,000. G bit, I'm checking. I missed out one bit, no F, that I will check. Tax on non-monetary perquisite provided to employee by employer is not allowed as expenditure. Come back to F, please, all of you. Amount is recovered from employee towards PF contribution, 12 lakhs. Out of which amount remitted at the end of the year is 7 lakhs and balance was remitted before due date of filing the return. Now, employees' contribution to PF you have to pay by 15th of next month. Employers' contribution you can pay by 43B. तो ये तो 15th of next month की जगह you have paid before due date of filing the return, not allowed. Employees' contribution should be paid to PF by 15th of the next month, so not allowed. Yes. Anyone is having any doubt? Gain due to change in the rate of currency 1 lakh related to import. Machinery was acquired 2 years back and it was put to regular use. So if there is rate exchange में 1 lakh rupees benefit, पहले ही 1 lakh rupees you have got gain. You have imported a machinery of 8 lakhs and now you have to pay 7 lakhs and you have purchased it 2 years back. whenever asset related currency gain is there, credit it in the asset. If asset related loss is there, that you purchased it for 5 lakh and now you have to pay 1 lakh extra, add it to the cost of the asset. So nothing to do. This will not be allowed as expenditure. Gain should be reduced from cost of the machinery. I purchased machinery for 8 lakhs. But while paying the dollars rate and all went down and I had to pay only 7 lakhs. So 7 lakhs is not allowed. Clear? Yeah, I know answer is there, but I hope you all have tried on your own. And did you understand today's class that we are applying that? We are applying the knowledge. What we are getting. 1 second, dear students. Okay. Chalo. Shall we do 1 or 2 more items for allowed? Disallowed? Very simple. The next one is, you know that when you make payment to someone, I'm giving you 100 rupees salary. I am the deductor. You are the deductee. Detail we will see in salary chapter. Just now the concept. 100 rupees salary when I am paying. Am I generating income for you? Can I say take 100 rupees? Then I'm saying, Acha, listen, Akash, on 110 rupees is the tax. I'll take from you, pay you only 90 and give 10 rupees to government. When I deduct tax and pay to government, what is my expenditure out of my pocket? 100. 90 I gave you, 10 I gave to government. What is your income? 100. You received 100 gross amount, but 10 rupees you gave me back for tax TDS, and that you can claim at the time of filing the return. So first of all, the concept of TDS clear, SIF concept. Baki to it's like a pumping heart chapter. Yes. Okay. Now, any expenditure on account of interest, salary, royalty, fees payable outside India on which TDS is not deducted or not paid to government before due date, 100% disallowed. Can I take loan from an NRI and give interest out of India? Yes. Can I give salary out of India? Yes. We have studied all this in residential status, royalty, technical fees. Whenever I make payment outside India, I am generating income from NRI. It's my duty to deduct TDS and pay. If I forget to deduct TDS, my expenditure is not allowed. Ma'am, ये तो बहुत बड़ी punishment है. Yeah. If I want to pay 1 lakh interest outside India to an NRI, I have to make sure that 10% is deducted at TDS. बाद में, where will we go and search the NRI later on? So if I make payment outside India and TDS is not deducted, 100% expenditure is allowed. But one thing is sure that TDS can be paid before due date of filing the return. March you have not paid, but you can pay before due date of filing the return. Any expense on account of payment in India without deducting TDS, 30% disallowed. In India, if you make payment and if you forget deducting TDS, say 1 lakh interest you have paid, 30%, that is 30,000 will be disallowed. The same 30% will again be allowed when the payment is made. So right now I paid 1 lakh interest, but I missed deducting TDS in India. 30% is disallowed. Next time, next year when I'm paid, it will be allowed. I hope you are getting. When I deduct the TDS and pay to government, now that 30% will be allowed. So the gist I have given on board, if interest is paid 1,000 outside India without TDS, 100% disallowed. If interest is paid 1,000 in India, 30% is disallowed. Clear? Right. Payment of taxes are not allowed. Payment to relative. Okay, very beautiful concept that my husband is doing business. In the same firm, my son is also working. So can a father give salary or commission to son in the same firm in which father is a proprietor? Yes. But just because he's my son, can we pay him 5 lakh rupees salary per month? No. He's not that super duper qualified that we give him 5 lakh per month. So it has to be reasonable to your relatives. If you give salary, remuneration, commission, and if it is unreasonable, it will be disallowed. Ma'am, who will decide it is unreasonable? Department. Department is saying according to qualification of my son, he can get 5 lakh remuneration. But if I am paying 50 lakhs, 45 lakhs will be disallowed. Clear? They'll give an exam. They'll give. What is the unreasonable part that they will give? For individual, who are the relatives, spouse, children? Yeah. For company directors, partnership firm partners, AOP member, HUF member. This definition is not required now. I'll teach in the clubbing and all the chapters. बहुत सारा irrelevant अभी. It's not irrelevant, but few things which are going to come in the further chapters. If I teach everything now, you'll be more confused. What's the gist of this? TDS in India, if you miss deducting 30% disallowed. Outside India, 100%. Payment to relatives. ये क्या gist हुआ payment to relatives? Unreasonable payment to relative is disallowed, right? This you do it as homework and I'll check it tomorrow. Problem number 22. It's also from the past exam. Oh, this one is pumping hard. Every exam, question number 1 only. Add less concept may they give this adjustment. Business related, any payment if you are making revenue or capital above 10,000, you have to make it by electronic mode. समझ में आ रहा है? I have sent my person go to the stationery market and get stationery of 12,000. He got 12,000 stationery in cash. I said no, above 10,000 you have to make electronic mode payment, RTGS, NIFT, UPI, जो भी है, online transfer. Why did you pay cash and get 12,000 stationery? Okay, ma'am, sorry, I forgot 12,000 stationery I got in cash. At least allow 10,000. At least allow till 10,000. Answer is no. If you make cash payment 18,000 and you say okay till 10,000 it is allowed. Once you exceed 10,000 payment to single person, single day in cash, gone. That 100% expenditure is not allowed. Please remember this. Some of you live are commenting too good. God bless you. All my blessings and wishes are with you. Thank you for trusting us and best wishes so that you work more encouragingly with superpower. Solve this problem in writing so that you know how to write it. ये तो करेंगे कल. But अभी मुझे ये बताओ, is this concept clear or not? 10,000 वाला. Same 10,000 limit. This comes in every exam. And usually student do mistake is goods purchased worth 18,000 in cash. Ma'am 10,000 तक तो allowed है ना, 8,000 is ऐसे नहीं होता बेटा. Once you exceed 10,000, the whole expenditure is disallowed. I am teaching you income tax. I am teaching you business head with lot of emphasis on what is important for exam, and second emphasis is pitfalls where you usually make mistake. That's what I want to bring notice to. So above 10,000, if you want to make payment to a single person, single day, make it through cross check, account pay check, RTGS, NIFT, ECS, mobile transfer, UPI, सब है. Same limit for transporter who is employed in flying hiring is 35,000. MCQ में भी बहुत पूछते हैं, क्वेश्चन आंसर में भी बहुत पूछते हैं. Any confusion in your mind? Any example in your mind, ma'am? Make it clear. Huh? You know what are rules? Like it is rule in Dipti ma'am's class to take active part. Second rule is ma'am is writing, you have to write. हाँ, मैं तो बहुत रूटीन ऑफलाइन क्लास में तो आई फिल अप दैट बूस्टर नोट्स. That's like writing practice and then they get exemption in exam. बिल्कुल बिल्कुल प्रिंटेड है तो भी लिखेंगे. Rules are explanations to the act. Act says above 10,000 you cannot make payment in cash to a single person single day. Exception says if you are paying to government, if you are purchasing agricultural produce or such produce wherein bank account. Suppose we are doing a business of honey, then there are tribal people who come from forest and really quality good honey they give, which we refine, pack and sell. Now can we say to tribal people, nahi, Dipti ma'am has said, we have to pay you 18,000, no, we will pay by check. Arey, but that tribal people is staying in forest and there are no banks. So exception to the rule is where above 10,000 payment in cash on a single day is allowed. Okay, these are single person single day. Huh? Can I pay 8,000 cash to 8 people in a single day? Yes, allowed. क्योंकि एक एक को कितना दिया? 8,000. Followed? Right. Following are the exceptions provided in Rule 6DD. They say if you pay for forest project, fisheries, horticulture, where there are no bank account. Payment is made in village and town where there are no bank accounts. It has to be made on continuous bank holidays. तो फिर cash चलेगा. So like this they are there. Even donations cannot be paid in cash above 2,000. This is also asked in MCQs. I think we'll stop it here. Problem number 23 is apply this and solve the problems. I will stop it here because after this, only I need to cover is 43B, which I'll start the class tomorrow. And then we will work out the question answer. Shall we complete 143B? So that all allowed, disallowed is over. So tomorrow's classes, presumptive taxation and the problems. Please don't come in tomorrow's class without printout. Otherwise, these are jumbo questions of 8 marks, 12 marks, 14 marks. Beta nahi samajh mein aayega. Chalo, 43B last kar lete hain. Already I've told you the gist of 43B. 43B says, few expenditure are allowed on payment basis. Even if they are outstanding in March, you need to pay them before due date of filing the return. Deduction is allowed only if the payment basis, not on due basis. Any sum payable by way of tax or duty, government payment. Any sum payable by employer by way of contribution to superannuation fund, bonus, interest to public banks, any sum payable by employee and leave credit, sum payable to Indian Railways, employer's contribution to PF. Employees' contribution to PF will be allowed only if it is paid by 15th of next month. Employer's contribution, if it is outstanding. So can you say the gist is all government payment, taxes, all employee related payment and interest, right? This is an amendment. I'll teach it separately with an example. ये बाद में करेंगे. पहले देखो. In a nutshell, government payment, employee related payment and interest to payable to bank. If interest to outstanding interest, you have passed the entry on 31st March, make sure you paid before due date of filing the return. Clear? Right. Payment should be made either during the relevant previous year or before due date. If payment is not made now, then expenditure is disallowed. However, if payment is made in December 24 next year, will it be allowed? Yes. Employees' contribution is allowed only if it is paid 15th of next month. So what does 43B says? Taxes, employee related payment and interest. If you have kept it outstanding in March, make sure you paid before due date of filing the return. And now added this year is MSME. Any payment made by buyer. Suppose we are buyers, we are buying from micro and small enterprise, not covered. Medium enterprises are not covered. Micro, small, medium enterprise development act. According to this, if I am making my purchases from a micro or small enterprise before due date agreed between them, not exceeding 45 days, or in case no agreement, then payment allowed. Okay, so if there is an agreement, then I have to pay to, I am a buyer, I am buying from MSME. So I have to pay before due date not exceeding 45 days. And if there is no agreement, I have to pay within 15 days. Then only that expenditure will be allowed. फिर से एक बार, if I am a buyer, I am buying from micro and small enterprise, then if there is an agreement, then before due date of agreement not exceeding 45 days, I have to make payment. Or in case of no agreement, then payment allowed if within 15 days. Okay. If payment is made after the due date, it will not be allowed now, but it will be allowed next. Dekho. This is an example, but very nice. For those of you who want to practice amendments, all the amendments are superbly covered in RTP for May 24 solved for CA Inter students. Even CMA Inter should solve that RTP because it is covering up all the latest amendments application. Raj purchased goods 50,000 from Keval as per the agreement on 14/4. Right? कब खरीदे आपने 13/3. अग्रीमेंट क्या है 14/4. So 10/4 only if they make the payment before due date allowed. If the payment is made on 25/4, after the due date, then deduction is not allowed now, but it will be allowed next year. Now it will be disallowed. Next year it will be allowed. फिर से एक बार, those who are confused, I'll explain once again. What's the gist of MSME? I am a buyer. I am buying the goods from MSME. Then I have to pay them within the due date as per our agreement of 45 days. Maximum due date of 45 days, whichever is it. If there is no agreement, then I have to pay within 15 days of purchase to the MSME. Otherwise, my purchases is disallowed. Okay. So here we have finished a challenging topic, allowed, 30 to 37. Disallowed, 40. Relatives, cash payment, TDS, disallowed. Tomorrow, when we solve the questions, you will enjoy it. How to read the problem, I'll make it clear. Presentation skills, I'll make it clear. Apply the amendments properly, I'll make it clear with a super duper good speed. And then, of course, last part tomorrow, we will do all 44 series. Okay? Any doubts you have, read and come and ask me. Okay? So, as we close the class, we close with the prayer. Whatever I'm listening, I'm understanding 100%. I'm learning it crystal clear. I'm able to recollect and produce the same in the exam. I'm getting awesome result in my DT paper, and I've realized all my goals. How many of you read the post which I've sent today early morning in the groups? Sometimes not every day I give this. So there I talked that this month we are working on March. So march towards your goal. I am yet not a CA CMA, but I will do whatever it takes to achieve my goal. And for that, we have to work on all C's. Courage. How the courage will come? By taking part. Commitment. By attending live classes. Consistency. Solve it in writing. So when you are working in C's, you will never complain and say that I have not completed my paper in 3 hours. And the last most important prayer as we close is, I take 100% responsibility for all my actions, behavior, decisions, emotions. When I take responsibility, power is with me. I can mold my anger, I can mold my emotions very quickly. It's absolutely not wrong to go low or to feel bad or to get angry. Important is how fast you bounce back. This one funda will keep you uplifted and undisturbed from whatever is going on in your surrounding, as you are bigger than your environment, right? The class should end with thank you from my side because you've trusted and watching till end, and thank you from your side that you are ready to take this knowledge, apply it, and get good marks in exam. So do comment below the video once it is uploaded, and these are live lectures. Invite your friends. They can join from tomorrow. They can join from capital gain. They will follow. Salary chapter is not yet over, right? And write chapter wise exam. Take maximum benefit of the booster DT exam series, right? It's all free. Test be free hai, revision classes be free hai, ye practice batch be, and the notes be. This time it's the mood which says give and give. So I'm doing that. Thank you. Bye bye, all of you. See you sharp at 11 tomorrow in the live class. Join Telegram to get the notes and updates. If not, join the WhatsApp group. Bye, all of you.